The rain hit the windshield so hard that I could barely see the road ahead. My phone rang for the third time in less than a minute. I almost ignored it. I had already lost my job that morning. My landlord wanted 3 months of overdue rent, and my old pickup truck sounded like it was ready to fall apart at any second. Nothing good ever came from unknown numbers. I answered anyway. Is this Daniel Carter? Yeah. My name is Rebecca Mills. I'm an attorney with Lawson & Pierce. I need you to come to my office immediately. It concerns the last will and testament of Richard Ashford. I laughed. I think you have the wrong person. I don't know any Richard Ashford. There was a short pause. I'm certain I have the right person, Mr. Carter. And I believe your life is about to change. She hung up before I could ask another question. At that moment, I had no idea that within 24 hours I would become the most hated man in America. Or that someone would soon be willing to kill me for an inheritance I never asked for. 2 days earlier, my biggest worry had been keeping the lights on in my tiny apartment in Cleveland. At 32, I worked as a mechanic at a neighborhood garage. My father had passed away when I was 10. My mother worked double shifts as a nurse until cancer took her 5 years later. Since then, life had been nothing but hard work. I never complained. My girlfriend Emily often told me, "You're the kindest broke man I've ever met." I always joked back. At least I have one talent. She smiled every time. Emily was a middle school teacher. She loved old movies, coffee that was way too strong, and stray animals. We had planned to get married someday, but someday always seemed too expensive. That morning everything changed. The law office looked like something from another world. Marble floors, crystal lights. Men in expensive suits walked past without even looking at me. Rebecca greeted me politely. "Mr. Carter, thank you for coming. I still think you've got the wrong guy." "I don't." She opened a thick folder. "Do you know the name Richard Ashford now?" I shook my head. She slowly turned her computer monitor toward me. Every news website showed the same face. Richard Ashford, founder of Ashford Global Industries. Net worth, over $28 billion. One of the richest men in America. My stomach tightened. The billionaire died 3 days ago. I heard about it on TV. He specifically requested that you attend today's reading. I stared at her. Why? I believe you'll soon understand. She led me into a conference room filled with people wearing black designer clothing. The room immediately became silent. A woman in her 50s glared at me with pure hatred. A younger man whispered something before laughing. An older gentleman looked disgusted. Rebecca quietly leaned toward me. "Those are Mr. Ashford's family members." I nearly stood up. I really don't belong here. Before I could leave, another attorney entered carrying a sealed envelope. "The reading will now begin." Everyone settled into their seats. The attorney cleared his throat. "To my beloved family." The letter started warmly enough. Richard thanked each member for different moments in his life. His wife wiped away fake-looking tears. His son smiled confidently. His daughter looked bored. Everything seemed exactly how you'd expect a billionaire's will to begin. Then the attorney stopped. He reached for another page. "My final decision concerns a young man who has never met me. If every eye turned toward me, if Daniel Carter is present." My heart began racing. "Then I leave him 90% of my personal fortune, including Ashford Manor, controlling shares in Ashford Global Industries, and all voting authority over the company." Silence. Complete silence. I honestly thought I had misheard. Then someone screamed. "What?" Richard's son slammed both hands onto the table. "This is insane." His wife stood so quickly that her chair crashed backward. "This has to be fraud." His daughter pointed directly at me. "Who paid this nobody?" The attorney calmly continued. "My family already has more wealth than they could spend in several lifetimes. Money without character destroys people. Daniel Carter has spent his life helping others despite having almost nothing. He possesses the one thing my empire failed to buy." The attorney looked directly at me. Integrity. I couldn't breathe. "I have never met this man." Rebecca nodded. "That's true. So why me?" She handed me another envelope. "He left this for you personally." My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a handwritten letter. "Daniel, if you're reading this, I'm already gone. No, we've never spoken, but I've known about you for almost 15 years. Please don't leave. Everything will make sense soon." "Richard," I looked up. "This isn't possible." Rebecca quietly said, "There's more." She pressed a button. A large television screen came to life. Richard Ashford appeared in a pre-recorded video. He looked older than on television but spoke with remarkable strength. If Daniel stayed long enough to watch this, then maybe I wasn't wrong about him. And everyone remained frozen. Richard smiled sadly. 20 years ago I made the worst mistake of my life. He paused. I destroyed someone who deserved far better. The room became silent again. Her name was Sarah Carter. My entire body froze. That was my mother's name, Richard continued. When we were young, Sarah and I fell deeply in love. I stared at the screen. No, we planned a future together. My chest tightened. But ambition won. He admitted that building his company became more important than keeping his promises. When investors demanded a different public image, he walked away from the woman he loved. Months later he learned she was pregnant. He wanted to return. But by then, she had disappeared. I searched for years. His voice cracked. I never found her. I couldn't move. Richard looked directly into the camera. If Daniel is watching this, then I already know what you're thinking. He smiled sadly. Yes, you are my son. The room exploded into chaos. No, impossible. His lying. I couldn't hear anything anymore. My ears rang, my vision blurred, my entire life suddenly felt like someone else's story. My father, the man I believed had raised me, had never been my biological father. Richard continued speaking through the shouting. I hired investigators after I was diagnosed with terminal cancer. They finally found Sarah's records. He lowered his head. I also learned she died years ago. His eyes filled with tears. I was too late. I remembered every night Mom had worked until sunrise. Every birthday she apologized because she couldn't afford gifts. Every time she refused to tell me much about the man before Dad. She had carried that secret alone. Richard took a slow breath. I know Daniel owes me nothing. I wasn't there for his first step. I wasn't there for his graduation. I wasn't there when his mother needed help. I failed both of them. His voice almost broke. I cannot ask forgiveness. I can only spend my final days trying to make one impossible thing right. He looked directly into the camera again. My family may hate this decision. They'll say Daniel doesn't belong. They'll call him a gold digger. They'll accuse him of manipulation. They'll try to destroy him. Then Richard leaned closer. If they're doing those things, it means I judged them correctly. The screen went black. Nobody spoke. Finally Richard's son Victor slowly stood. He looked straight at me. His expression wasn't angry anymore. It was something much worse. Pure hatred. You think you're taking my father's company? I don't want it, I whispered. Victor laughed coldly. You don't get to choose anymore. He walked toward me until we were inches apart. My father may have left you billions. He leaned close enough that only I could hear him. But he also left you every enemy he ever made. Then he smiled. And trust me, they've already started looking for you.